Hello guys, welcome to another video on this course. In the previous video, I showed you how to serve up static files or access our static files on Express. So files like images, a style sheet, a CSS style sheet, or any other static files like audio, video files, and whatever you want to send to the user. So how to use them and how to set it up so that Express will be able to access them. So now in this video, we are moving a step forward and we want to look at how to handle form submission with Express. So um, I actually have a register.ejsa. So the register.ejs is a template file that I created, which has an header and also a form. Now this form is making a request to /register, which we've not created. We're going to do that in this video. So we want to make a request to this endpoint, and also method of the request is going to be a post. It's going to be post. So we are going to listen for a post request on our server. Now about this bit right here, don't worry about it for now. I'm going to show you what it does later, but before before I do that, I have to comment out this line of inputs, because we're also going to deal with file uploading to in this video. But I just want us to start with the basics of it, which is just submitting form data. So don't worry about this input field for now. And also I'm going to remove this encoding type from my request. So we have um, plain HTML form to submit data to our Express server, to make a post request to our Express server with form data. So this is pretty much all there is in our register.ejs. You can work that out on your hand and have this on your hand. So before we do anything, I also want to link the style sheets to this register.ejs. So I'm going to have the style sheet, which, as you've seen from the previous video, we have to do by typing the URL of our server. First import 8000, then /styles, and then /welcome CSS. So this will help us to fetch the CSS file that is needed to style this page right here. So before we go into index.js to start writing, to start listening for this request, so we want to create an endpoint that listens for a get an endpoint that listens for a get request to /register, so that whenever we type /register localhost 8000 /register, it renders this EJS file to us. So we're going to do that by coming here to index.js, and I'm just going to come below all of this, and probably I'm going to comment out all this because we don't really need them for now. I'm going to comment out all of this, and also some of this that we have here, just to know what we're dealing with. So probably comment out all the endpoints that we have right here, just to know what we are dealing with right now. All right, so I have everything commented out right now. Yeah, our code looks messy for now, but we're going to fix it shortly. So we have the / and let's say forget, I need to uncomment this about. So I'm going to uncomment this now. So we are also working with the /about. So what we want to do right now is create a new endpoint for /register. Also, we're going to do app.get, and in here we're going to have /register. And once again, we have a request and the response, and then so in here we also want to log the same thing to the console, but want to render a different file. And here we are not going to have any parameters right here, so we're just going to remove. Let's get to remove this. So instead of about, we are going to render register. which is the name of the EJS file that we're trying to render. So as you can see, we have register.ejs. So that is what I'm trying to render right here. And if you've not forgotten, um, we don't have to put .ejs, and we don't also have to specify the path to this file because Express already knows where to look for. We've already declared those right here at the top. So now if we navigate to slash register, and then we should be able to get um, the form sent to us. All right, cool. So we have the form sent to us for slash register. Cool. So what we want to do now is we want to be able to submit this form. So right now, if I type things inside here and I click done, I'm going to get an error here though because there's kind of an HTML validation going on here. So let me just put gmail.com, and whenever I press done, I'm going to get an error cannot post to register because we are not actually listening for a post request to this route. So let's fix that right now, and I'm just going to refresh the page so that we'll get our form back. All right, so our form is back. So one thing we want to do, and before we do that, I also want to explain or point something out. Like I said earlier on during this course, like you can make a post request from a form from your HTML file, or your template engine. In our case, we're using EJS as our view engine. So we are making a post request from here. It's going to work. So we don't have to use standard client in this case. So we are already making a post request. This tag makes a request for us, and in this case we specify that it's going to make a post request. So if you also want to make a put, patch, or delete request or get request, you can also make it from a form to its allowed. It's something that can be done. So we're going to now allow our server or enable our server to listen for a post request on this route. So I'm going to go back to my index.js, and here I'm going to have app.post, and here I'm going to have /register, and then we have our request, then our response, and cool. So we have opened, we've created the function, and now let's first of all we want to also log this to the console, and not just request made. We want to grab, okay, something like the one we have here. All right, so we want to know what type of request is being made. I'm just going to uncomment this. So all right, so console.log request method made to request URL. Cool. And now before we do any other thing, I want to log to the console um the request dot body. So actually what happens when you make when you submit the form data to your Express server, it comes in form of a normal post request. When you're submitting a form to your Express server with a post request. So in our case, we are submitting a form or making a request and submitting a form via the request, and it's also a request with a post method. So all the data, all the values that we have here in this form will be passed as a form data, and also we'll be able to have access to it as rest of body. So let me just explain this better. Now I'm going to use standard client once more as an example. So here I have to another client open. I'm going to switch back to post request. I'm not going to make a request, but what I want to do is I want to show you this body. So now here in the body, you can see the different type of request of body data that we can send, different kind of data that we can send to our server. So here you see the JSON, the XML, the text, the form, the encoded form, the GraphQL, or the binary. So whichever form of data is coming to your server can be accessed via the body. So in our case, we are submitting a form. It's not an encoded form. We're still going to submit an encoded form before the end of this video when we're dealing with file uploads. But right now we are working with forms, so um, it's still going to be accessible via the body. So whichever form of data you're sending will be accessible via the body of the request. So That means in our case, if I should log to the console, request the body, then it's going to send me all the data coming in from the fields that I have in my form. So here I have three fields. I have the username field, the email, and the password. And by the way, the names also will be used as the selectors or the identifiers on our server. So I'm going to show you that in a moment. So now we are expecting a payload or a data coming through the body, which is a form data that contains three fields. And let's do that, but let's also do rest at end so that we don't keep our server or our client side waiting for a response from the server. So cool, let's go to a browser and test this theory out in our browser. So I'm just going to refresh this page, and for the username I'm going to put my name, Jerry. For the email, Jerry at codemania.com, and for the password I'm just going to type in some bunch of nonsense. So if I click on done, now it has made the request, though we are not sending any response back to the user. That's why we can't say anything here right now. But if we go back to our browser, our VS Code, and open up our terminal, you can see here that I have the body data being logged to my console right here. And we can see that it's just as a normal post request made with a JSON data. Um, it's pretty much the same as a JSON data, just in this case, we have it in form of an object, which is a form data object, but we can also access it, like I said, using the names that we use in our form. So here in this case, we have our forms, and we have the name of each fields in our form. We have the username, the email, and the password. And as you can see here, we have the username, the email, and the password. So that shows that the name of the fields we will are going to serve as the identifier or the key of the fields that we're going to have in the object that is being returned for us from request to body. So I hope that is clear enough. So that's about making submitting form data to Express server. You can make pretty much any request you want. It could be a delete request, it could be a put, a patch request. All you have to do is listen for the specific kind of request in your browser and in your on your Express server, and everything's going to be handled. So one more thing, now we want to deal with file uploads. So I'm going to comment this last feed, which is actually an input with a type of file. So we want to upload a file to our Express server. Now, there are some things that we need to do to be able to make that possible. First, we need to make sure that our form, in this case, the request being made by our form is encoded. So I'm just going to return, sorry, what I what I removed from here. So the encoding type, we're going to specify it as a multipart slash form data. So we're going to encode it as a multipart slash form data. So this encoding type will allow us to be able to upload a file or to be able to send a file across to our Express server. And as you know, we can also send an encoded form to our server, so it's allowed. So that's all we need to do here on this end. Now the rest of the work needs to be done or needed to be done right here in our Express file. So the first thing we need to do, I'm just going to stop a server. So the first thing we're going to do is install a package that will help us with file uploads on Express. So we have a lot of packages that can do that. We have Express file upload, we have Malta, which we are going to be using in this video, and we have a lot of them actually, but like I said, we're going to be using Malta package in this course. So we're going to do npm install, and with a safe flag, then Malta. So now that we have Malta installed on our Express on our project, we can go ahead to import it into our index.js. So we're going to say const and Malta equals to require Malta. So cool. Um, that's all we need to do now. We also need to do something else. We need to set up some configurations for Malta. So I'm just going to paste the configuration right here inside our file. So here we have we have a function actually, but we have an instance of multi, we're calling it a function of this storage. So here, what we're just doing here is configuring the destination of our file uploads, or of our uploaded file. So whichever file we want to upload is going to be in the public slash upload folder. So but there's one important thing about this. If you're specifying a folder like this for your uploaded file to go to, you need to create that folder. So for some reason, I don't know, Malta doesn't create folders itself, probably because of maybe permissions or stuff like that, because most of the times I get errors that it's unable to get the access to create the folder that it needs. So we are just going to go ahead and create the upload folder itself and have it there. So we don't need to put anything in there for now. And now that we have the upload folder created, so we can go ahead with this. So this is not going to give us a problem or an issue with the folder. So and we have a destination. So the destination is the configuration of the folder where our uploaded files are going to be. And we also have a file name. So this is just going to get the type of the file, which is the MIME type. So the MIME type is actually the type of, so if you're uploading an image, so your MIME type is probably going to be a JPEG or JPG, whatever format it is. So we want to save it in in a variable called extension, and here we are calling a callback function where we are dynamically getting or creating file names. So we are using the field name, which I'm going to explain to you in an instance where we got this field name from, and also we are concatenating it with the current date, so that we don't get the same file name over and over again. So we want to get, every time we upload a file, we want to get a unique file name. That's why we're concatenating it with a date object. So every time we create a new file or we upload a new file, it's going to add the current um timestamp to it. So we can't have two, we are not going to have two files having the same name on them. If we don't get what's happening here, I'm still going to try to explain it better. But this is actually a configuration that I copied from this. I think, yeah, I think this is it. So cool. I will leave a link to this page in the description of this video so you can see. So even though I can't find the configuration here right now, all right, here, this is it. So um yeah, this is it. I just made I made some changes to it, so you can also do that on your own, and you can just copy this and use it in your document. So actually it's just, so what we did here is just a way of it's just like a configuration for Malta so that it knows where to upload to and what to name the uploaded file. So and that is all we need to do. Then we created an instance of Malta here and set the storage to Malta storage, which is actually this uh, variable that we created up here. So now we can upload files. So what we need to do again, we are going to do that in our register endpoints. So now we're going to have another function at here that we're going to call from the upload instance or the Malta instance that we created up here. So we're going to call the function from it. So we're going to use that to upload our file. So here we're going to do upload dot single. That is for a single file. So upload dot single, and I'm going to add a comma here. So we're going to do upload dot single. Then we're going to specify here the name of the field of the file that we're uploading. So if we go back here to our form, you can see that we have an input type equals file, then the name equals avatar. So we want to specify this name on our server so that Express knows what exactly the file, the field name for the file is, and knows what to upload. So here we're going to say avatar. Let's say avatar. So Now this is going to upload the file. Now this dot single is for when we're uploading a single file, which is what we're doing in our case. All right, so that's that about this. So whenever we submit this form now, we'll be able to upload the file and you're able to see it in our uploads folder right here. So let's just test this out in our browser. Let's go to /register, refresh this page, cancel the form submission. Okay, our site cannot be reached. I've not started my Express server back. Okay, so let's do that by saying npm start and I just wrote pm start. Alright, so we have our server up and running. So let's refresh this page. Cool. So now we have our file feed. So I can put the name, the email, and also the password. Then I'm going to choose a file from my PC. Check it to go to download and just choose a random image file from here. Okay, probably one of my screenshots right here. Okay, so I've chosen the file. I can now press done or click on done, and yeah, like I said, our form is submitting, but because we're not sending any response back to the user, so we can't see anything right here. But if we look at our console, we can see now. If you notice here, we can't find any file objects. Now we just log the request body, and we're only seeing the form data, but we're not seeing the files. But if you look right here in our upload folder, we have our file uploaded to our server. So if you look at it right here, we have a file uploaded to our server along with the timestamp as its name. So that is actually cool. But why can't we find the file object here? Because actually file object is being treated separately in Express. So it's not going to come along with the body of your request, but you can log or you can check for the file by saying request of files or file in our case, because we only have one file. Now if you're uploading multiple files, you can use the request of files. So in our case, we only have one file, so we use request of file. And yeah, I can go back to the server and make the same request. So I'm just going to refresh. I'm going to press continue to resubmit that form. And if I go back to my server now, you can see we have our file objects logged to the console. So the field name is avatar. Now I promised to explain this function that I wrote up here. So you can see me getting the field name right here. So this is what it is, the field name, which is avatar. We have the MIME type, like I said, which is just the type of the file that you're uploading. In our case, it's a JPEG, so that's what we're getting here. We're splitting it on the / just to get the exact extension that comes with it. And that is also, if you also want to access the size of the image, probably you want to restrict the size of the files that be uploaded to your server, you can also do that with this. Then we have the destination, that is the path that is being uploaded to, and the destination that has been uploaded to. There we have the path that the file is being uploaded. So if you want to save this to your database now, you can save this as the path that leads to that specific image on your server. So as you can see here now, we have two files, although they are the same, but because we use timestamp to save them, so we are going to have different file names, and we are going to be able to upload it multiple times. So that's that with file uploads to a server, a single file in our case. We are still going to make use of these things um, in the coming videos in this course. So sit tight, and also remember to like this video and also subscribe to this channel if you've not done so. So I'll catch you in the next video.